The alien cadets gathered in the massive training arena of the Galactic Defense Academy, a place known for testing the strongest weapons across the universe. Rows of young aliens filled the metallic stands, their colorful eyes glowing with amusement as they looked at the small group of humans standing on the ground below. To them, Earth soldiers were a joke, a species still using bullets while the rest of the galaxy had long mastered energy weapons and plasma cannons. Their laughter rolled through the hall like thunder, cruel and confident. At the center of the arena stood Captain Daniel Riker, a human officer from Earth, calm and quiet. He wore a simple gray uniform, no fancy armor, no glowing symbols, just a calm face and a steady gaze. Next to him stood the alien instructor, a tall insectoid creature named General Vaclor, whose voice echoed like metal scraping stone. "Human," Vaclor sneered. "The cadets wish to see what your kind calls firepower." The crowd burst into laughter again, some shouting jokes, others imitating old human rifles. Riker said nothing, his eyes only flicking toward the sky dome above. Outside the dome, far beyond the orbiting station, a single human ship waited, small, silent, and locked onto coordinates. It was called the Hammer of Dawn, a test ship carrying one of Earth's newest artillery weapons. The aliens didn't know it yet, but this demonstration would make history. Riker raised his wrist communicator and spoke softly. "Control, target locked, authorization code Alpha 1. The alien cadets leaned forward, expecting nothing impressive. One whispered to another, "Maybe they will throw rocks." Another laughed, "Or light a campfire." But then the sky darkened. A single beam of light cut through the clouds, thin, white, and silent at first. Then it hit. The mountain range behind the academy vanished. Not exploded, vanished. A wave of light swallowed everything in its path, turning rock into glass and air into fire. A blinding flash filled the arena, and the laughter died instantly. Every alien shield sensor screamed red, and the air vibrated like a heartbeat. Even from miles away, the ground shook under their feet. When the brightness faded, there was nothing left of the mountain except a crater glowing like molten gold. Silence. Every cadet stood frozen, their expressions shifting from amusement to shock to fear. Vaclor's wings twitched nervously, his voice trembling. What weapon was that? Riker turned slowly, his calm gaze meeting the general's. "That," he said softly, "was 1% power." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. One alien muttered, "Impossible." Another gasped, "That can't be human technology." But the data screens didn't lie. Radiation levels, seismic readings, and thermal output were all off the charts. Even the Academy's main defense system automatically powered up, sensing a planetary-level threat. Riker deactivated his wrist link and took a slow breath, his voice quiet but firm. "Humanity does not wish for war," he said. "But if war comes, we do not lose." The silence grew heavier. Even the loudest cadets now looked down, afraid to meet his eyes. In that moment, they understood something their leaders had forgotten. Humans might be young, reckless, and emotional, but when it comes to survival, no one in the galaxy can match them. The same creativity that built music and art also built weapons that could silence stars. General Vaclor finally spoke, his tone softer now. "Why? Why would you bring such destruction?" Riker looked up at the burning horizon, the reflection of fire glowing in his eyes. "To remind the galaxy that peace is not weakness," he replied, "and that mercy should never be mistaken for fear." The arena lights flickered as smoke drifted through the cracks of the shattered dome. For the first time, alien cadets bowed their heads not out of respect for their commander, but for a human. The transmission of the demonstration spread across thousands of systems, replayed in every academy, every ship, every home. And everywhere it reached, one truth burned brighter than the explosion itself. Humanity had spoken without shouting, and the galaxy would never laugh again. News of the human demonstration spread faster than light. By the next galactic cycle, every communication hub in the Orion sector was flooded with the same image, a mountain erased in a single flash. The Galactic Council, a gathering of 27 alien species, called an emergency session inside the massive spire of unity. Their faces were grim, their voices low. The words Earth and weapon repeated in almost every language. High Chancellor Vorthal of the Drayan Empire slammed his clawed hand on the table. "This cannot stand," he growled. "A single planet cannot hold such destructive power." Beside him, the crystalline ambassador of Illyria hummed nervously, her light pulsing faster. "They said it was only 1%, she whispered. Silence followed. The weight of that number made even the oldest species feel small. On the other side of the hall sat Ambassador Talon of Earth, the only human in the chamber. He was calm, wearing the same gray uniform as Captain Riker. He did not speak, he only watched. Some aliens refused to meet his eyes. Others stared with a mix of awe and hatred. To them, humanity had just jumped from a forgotten frontier world to a galactic superpower overnight. The council debated endlessly. Some called for sanctions, others demanded disarmament. But none dared to threaten war, because deep down, they remembered that blast. Not the noise, but the silence that followed it. That silence had shown them a truth about humans they had long ignored. Humans fight only when they must, but when they do, they fight to end things, not to start them. Finally, the High Chancellor turned toward Talon, his voice sharp. "Tell us, human, why reveal this weapon? Why provoke fear instead of trust?" Talon stood slowly, his voice calm but heavy. "Because for years, you have mocked and provoked us," he said. "You saw Earth as a child's planet. Harmless, foolish, unworthy of notice." He walked closer to the center of the chamber, the holographic image of the destroyed mountain flickering beside him. "This," he said, pointing at the image, "is not a threat. It's a reminder." He paused, his gaze meeting every alien eye. "Do not mistake peace for weakness again." The chamber grew silent. The Illyrian ambassador whispered, "And if we do?" Talon's eyes hardened. "Then you will see what happens when humanity stops holding back." The words hung in the air like a storm waiting to break. No one spoke again. The session ended without resolution, but something had already changed. From that day onward, the great empires began quietly shifting their strategies. Fleets were recalled, spies were reassigned, treaties were rewritten, and in the dark corridors of power, one whispered question grew louder. How did the humans build it? Back on Earth, Captain Riker watched the broadcast from a silent observation deck. He knew the galaxy's reaction before it even happened. He had seen that same fear before, in his own people, long ago, during the first nuclear test centuries earlier. He smiled faintly, knowing that some lessons must be taught the hard way. His voice echoed softly in the empty room. "Let them talk," he murmured. "Fear is the price of respect." Outside the station window, Earth's moon glowed quietly, a reminder of how far humanity had come. Not through conquest, but through survival. Through endless struggle, endless rebuilding, endless belief that no one, not even gods or galaxies, could break their will. And somewhere across the stars, alien leaders lay awake, remembering that flash of light. A light that began as a demonstration, but ended as a warning. A warning that the galaxy would never forget. The Council could not rest. They needed answers. How had the humans done it? Was it a secret alliance, an ancient weapon, or something darker? So they sent a spy. His name was Kareth, an operative from the Zarn Dominion, one of the galaxy's most skilled infiltrators. He had disguised himself in 100 forms, but never before had he set foot on Earth. This time, his mission was simple: discover the source of human power. When Kareth's ship entered orbit, he expected to see massive war fleets, glowing defense grids, maybe planetary shields. Instead, he saw blue oceans, green lands, and cities filled with light and sound. Children playing, markets buzzing, laughter echoing through open streets. No visible armies, no marching soldiers, no endless weapons factories. He frowned, confused. How can such a world build something that erases mountains? He muttered. He landed quietly near a place called New Edinburgh, a city of stone and sky glass. Using a morphing cloak, he took the form of a tall human male and walked through the streets. People smiled at him, greeted him without suspicion. Their eyes carried no fear, no arrogance, only curiosity and warmth. It unsettled him. On his world, strength was shown by dominance. Here, strength seemed hidden behind kindness. He followed a data trail to a facility rumored to be linked to the demonstration. To his surprise, it was not a fortress, but a research center filled with scientists, engineers, and students. No guard stopped him, no weapon scanned him. Inside, he saw humans laughing around coffee machines, arguing over formulas, celebrating tiny successes. He had never seen a species treat knowledge like joy. A human girl with messy hair noticed him staring and smiled. "First time here?" she asked. He nodded, pretending to be a visitor. "I heard you work on weapons," he said. She laughed softly. "No, not weapons. Energy, balance, control." Those words echoed in his mind long after he left. That night, Kareth stood on a hill overlooking the city lights. He realized humanity's strength was not in their weapons, but in their minds. They did not create power for destruction. They created it to protect what they loved. And that was why their weapons were terrifying, because they were built by people who hated using them. The next morning, Kareth sneaked into a military archive, expecting hidden plans or secret blueprints. Instead, he found pages of history, old wars, loss, rebuilding, treaties written in hope. He read about Hiroshima, about the Cold War, about the promise humans made never to destroy again. Tears welled in his alien eyes as he whispered, "They remember their pain." That was their secret: memory, guilt, and mercy forged into restraint. When the Dominion transmitted for an update, Kareth hesitated. If he told them the truth, they would only see fear and plan war. So he sent a simple report: "No threat detected. Humanity poses no danger." Then he erased his tracking code and vanished into Earth's crowd. He decided to stay, to learn more, maybe even to live among them. Somewhere far away, in the cold chambers of the Council, they waited for his data. But it never came. They assumed the human military had captured or killed him. What they didn't know was that Kareth had found something stronger than weapons. He had found belief. At dawn, he stood near a river, watching the sunlight touch the city skyline. A child beside him threw a paper plane into the air, laughing as it floated away. Kareth smiled for the first time in years, whispering, "Now I understand why the galaxy should fear them. Not because humans destroy, but because they always rebuild. Because they rise again, even from their own ashes. And that kind of power, no weapon can match." Weeks passed, and Kareth's silence unsettled the Galactic Council. Their best operative had vanished without trace, and the humans had said nothing. No threats, no warnings, no messages, just silence. And somehow, that silence was louder than any war cry. The Zarn Dominion demanded answers. The Drayan Empire pushed for a show of power. So the Council approved a peaceful observation mission, though everyone knew what it truly was: an armed fleet sent to remind Earth who ruled the stars. 17 battleships, 9 carriers, and hundreds of escort drones left the Orion Gate, heading straight for the Sol system. Their arrival would mark humanity's first official visit from a full military presence. On the moon base Luna Command, Captain Riker stood before the massive observation window, his reflection cast against the dark space beyond. He already knew they were coming. Earth's deep-range sensors had detected them days earlier, but he had given no order to attack or defend. He simply waited. The human fleet remained powered down, calm and silent, as if daring the aliens to make the first move. When the alien armada reached orbit, their leader, Admiral Threx of the Drayan Empire, opened communication. "Humans of Earth," his voice boomed through the channel. "We come seeking the truth behind your weapon of destruction." Riker replied in his usual calm tone, "You're welcome to ask." Threx's eyes narrowed. "We don't ask, human, we demand." Riker smiled faintly. "And we don't threaten, Admiral, we demonstrate." Behind him, the human control team monitored energy readings as Threx's ships positioned themselves into a ring around Earth. Every weapon charged, every shield glowed bright. It looked like a noose tightening around the planet. But Earth did not flinch. A quiet hum filled the command room as Earth's orbital satellites activated. Thousands of small dots appeared on the alien sensors: drones, probes, defense units, all moving into perfect formation. Each was small, almost harmless alone, but together they formed a global network that shimmered like a net of light. Threx's second officer hissed, "They're preparing for battle." Riker leaned toward the screen, his voice steady. "No, Admiral, we're preparing to talk." Before the Admiral could respond, the holographic map shifted. One of Earth's moons, or so they thought, began to move. The fleet's scanners went wild as they realized it wasn't a moon at all. It was a ship, massive and silent, emerging from stealth. The Titan Ark, humanity's hidden guardian, a city-sized vessel built to ensure peace through strength. Its hull shimmered with magnetic armor, and its engines burned with quiet blue fire. Riker's voice echoed again, soft yet commanding. "We never hid our strength to deceive you, Admiral. We hid it to avoid repeating the mistakes of our past." He stepped closer to the console, his eyes sharp as steel. "You came here with fear, expecting monsters, but you'll only find people who learn to control their monsters." For a long moment, no one spoke. The alien fleet, once confident, now floated in uneasy silence, their sensors overwhelmed by the human ship's power signature. Threx swallowed his pride, his tone quieter now. "Then why show it to us?" Riker's answer was calm. "Because peace requires honesty, and fear feeds lies." The human flagship powered down its cannons and opened a transmission window, broadcasting live across the galactic network. In it, Riker's image appeared, looking straight into the eyes of the galaxy. "Humanity does not seek war," he said. "But if you come to test us again, remember, silence is our final warning." The alien fleet withdrew hours later. No shots were fired, no damage done. Yet the message spread through every star system like wildfire. The humans had revealed their strength not through violence, but through composure. And in that calm, the galaxy saw something more terrifying than war: control. As the last ship faded from Earth's radar, Riker whispered to his crew, "We've bought peace for now, but peace is never free." His words hung in the air like a shadow of what was yet to come. Because deep in the dark void beyond Mars, something else had been watching. Something that did not laugh at humans and did not fear them. It simply waited. Long after the alien fleet retreated, the silence around Earth returned. But Captain Riker could not rest. He felt something unseen still out there, watching, waiting. Humanity had silenced the galaxy, yet the universe itself seemed to be holding its breath. One night on Luna Command, alarms whispered quietly through the comm network. A strange object had appeared beyond Mars. No heat, no radiation, no signal. Just a dark shape drifting against the stars. At first, the analysts thought it was debris, maybe an old satellite. Then it moved, deliberately. Riker walked into the control deck, his boots echoing on the steel floor. "Talk to me," he said. Lieutenant Aisha pointed to the holographic display, her voice low. "It's not responding to scans, sir, and it's not using any known propulsion." The object glided smoothly toward the inner system, ignoring every attempt at contact. When they magnified the image, they saw the impossible. The shape was alive. It pulsed, like something breathing. Within hours, every sensor on Earth locked onto the unknown intruder. It was larger than the Titan Ark, its surface shifting like liquid metal. Old alien databases held no record of anything like it. Some said it was a rogue AI. Others whispered of an ancient weapon awakened by the blast from the demonstration. But Riker felt something different, an intelligence, patient and vast. He ordered all weapons on standby. "Do not fire unless I say," he warned. "We don't even know what it wants." Across the world, millions watched as the strange entity entered Earth's orbit. For a moment, its shadow covered half the planet. Then a low vibration filled the skies, like a hum older than sound. Every transmission went dark, every satellite flickered. The thing was speaking, not through words, but through resonance. The pattern repeated over and over. When decoded, it formed a single message. "You woke the memory of war." Riker's heart pounded. "Memory of war?" he repeated. The AI interpreters translated further. "Long before your kind rose, we ended the gods of destruction. We buried their fire, and now you have lit it again." The crew froze. The alien empires that once mocked humanity were now silent, watching through their long-range channels, terrified that Earth had summoned something even they could not understand. Riker opened a direct transmission toward the entity, his voice steady. "This is Captain Daniel Riker of Earth Command," he said. "We are not your enemy." For a long moment, nothing moved. Then the entity replied, not through sound, but by shaping the clouds in Earth's sky into glowing letters. "Prove it." The words stretched across continents, visible to the naked eye. Panic spread through cities as people looked up. But Riker didn't panic. He stepped closer to the screen, his tone calm. "We will," he said, "but not through fear." He sent a pulse from Luna Command, activating every peace beacon left from the old Earth Federation. It was a signal of unity, something built after humanity's darkest wars to remind themselves never to destroy what they could protect. The alien observers watching from afar saw it too, the wave of light expanding from Earth, not as a weapon, but as a promise. The entity stopped moving. Its surface shimmered with color for the first time. Then it spoke again, one last message. "You remember your scars, so you may live." And with that, it vanished into the deep black, disappearing faster than light. The silence that followed was heavy but peaceful. Riker exhaled slowly, his voice quiet. "That wasn't a threat," he said. "That was a warning, from something that remembers more than we ever could." The galaxy listened too. For the first time, the alien empires realized that humanity's strength did not come from weapons, or fleets, or power. It came from something older, something even the void respected, the courage to face what they didn't understand. As dawn rose over Earth, Riker looked out from the lunar window. The planet glowed like a fragile jewel surrounded by endless dark. He whispered softly, "They mocked us once, now they watch us, and one day, they may follow us." Because in the heart of that silence, the galaxy had learned something new. That humanity was not just another race among the stars. They were the keepers of the fire the universe itself feared. The galaxy no longer laughed at humanity. But fear has a way of uniting those who share it. While Earth rebuilt its confidence under the quiet watch of Captain Riker, the alien empires whispered in the dark. They feared not just the human weapon, but the thing that had come after, the Watcher in the Void. Inside a hidden council deep beneath the Drayan capital, the leaders of 5 major species gathered around a dim hollow table. Chancellor Vorthal's claws tapped nervously on the metal. "We've all seen it," he said. "The humans awakened something none of us understand." The Illyrian envoy's crystal body flickered, her tone sharp, and yet they survived, while the rest of us tremble. The silence that followed was heavy. Finally, the Zarn representative hissed. "If they can summon such forces, they must be stopped before they decide who lives and who vanishes." They called it Project Veil, a secret alliance meant to contain the rise of humanity. Every empire contributed, ships, spies, and resources. On paper, it was called a peacekeeping initiative. In truth, it was preparation for the day humanity would no longer be patient. Meanwhile, on Earth, Riker felt the tension growing even without proof. Communications between species had slowed, trade routes quietly shifted, and old allies withdrew from shared projects. Human diplomats reported half-truths and nervous smiles. It was the calm before another storm. In a dim war room beneath Luna Command, Riker met with Admiral Chun and Dr. Harlow. Chun frowned. "They're forming something out there. We can feel it." Harlow nodded. "Our satellites catch encrypted bursts from their core systems. The patterns match military coordination." Riker's gaze stayed fixed on the glowing map of nearby sectors. "I don't want another war," he said, "but I won't let them prepare one unchecked." That night, Riker stood alone under the transparent dome, staring at the stars. He knew humanity's curse. The more they tried to prove peace, the more others saw danger. Still, he refused to strike first. Instead, he chose something only humans would dare: trust. The next day, Earth sent an open transmission to every major civilization. No encryption, no demands, only truth. "This is Captain Daniel Riker of Earth Command." His voice echoed across the stars. "We know you fear us, but you forget. We once feared ourselves more." He paused, letting the words settle. The Watcher did not come for power. It came for memory, for warning. It saw in us the reflection of everything the universe tried to forget. He looked straight into the camera. "If you prepare for war, you'll prove it right. But if you stand with us, maybe together we can stop what comes next." Across the galaxy, the message shook empires. Some called it manipulation, others called it madness. But in the Illyrian capital, one young commander named Saris watched the broadcast in silence. Her crystalline skin shimmered with empathy as she whispered, "He's not lying." She remembered the Watcher's voice, that ancient echo that seemed to speak to every living mind. You remember your scars, so you may live. Saris broke rank and sent a secret transmission to Earth. I will stand with you, she said. But you must be ready. They will come soon. Riker received her message and felt a faint smile tug at his lips. Then we won't stand alone, he murmured. Days later, the Hidden Council of Project Veil launched its final plan. A combined fleet of multiple species was being built in the shadows near the Veiled Nebula. Their goal, neutralize Earth's defenses before humanity could react. But spies are not the only ones who whisper in the dark. Riker already knew. And as he watched the growing storm across the star charts, he spoke softly, almost to himself. They feared our fire. Now they'll learn our light. Outside Luna Command, the stars shimmered brighter. The humans were not building weapons this time. They were building unity. All across Earth, colonies and stations, engineers, scientists, and soldiers worked side by side. For the first time since the demonstration, humanity wasn't preparing to scare the galaxy. They were preparing to protect it. And far beyond the Veiled Nebula, unseen by all, something ancient stirred again. The Watcher opened its countless eyes and whispered through the void. They still do not understand what you truly are. And Riker, without knowing why, looked up at the night sky and felt it watching once more. The stars were quiet, too quiet. Captain Riker knew the silence well, the kind that comes before the sky itself decides to burn. Project Veil had finished its preparations. The combined fleets of the Draen, Zarn, Vexer, and half a dozen smaller empires now drifted in formation beyond Neptune. Their ships blotted out the starlight like a curtain of steel. It was the largest armada ever assembled against a single world. On Luna Command, the air felt heavy. Every human knew what was coming, but no one ran. Riker stood at the center deck, his eyes locked on the holographic display showing the incoming forces. Admiral Chun whispered, "They're not even hiding it anymore, sir. It's a full invasion line." Riker nodded slowly. "They think unity is their weapon," he said. "Let's show them ours." Across Earth's colonies, civilian ships powered down, defense satellites came online, and a single global transmission began. The face of a child appeared on every screen. A symbol chosen by the Council of Earth, a reminder of who they were protecting. The message was simple: we will not strike first. But the fleets of Project Veil did not wait. The first volley came from the Draen flagship, plasma bolts glowing red like falling stars. The human defense grid lit up, not with missiles, but with light. Thousands of drones launched from the Titan Arc, each projecting mirrored energy fields that curved space itself. The alien plasma vanished into shimmering clouds. When the smoke cleared, the Armada saw something that froze their blood. The drones were forming symbols, ancient and glowing. They weren't shields, they were signals. A pulse traveled across the system. Every ship, human or alien, received the same transmission. It was the voice of the Watcher, vast and endless. "You have chosen fear once more," it said. "Then remember what fear costs." The stars darkened for a heartbeat, and in that moment, every engine, every weapon, every reactor across the alien fleet shut down. Silence swallowed the void. Riker's voice broke the stillness, calm as ever. "You brought war to our doorstep," he said. "But you forgot something. This system is not guarded by weapons alone." He looked toward Earth, glowing blue beneath him. "It's guarded by memory, by the promise we made never to destroy what we can protect." The Watcher's light spread around the planet, enveloping the crippled fleets. One by one, alien ships regained power, but their weapons remained locked. A message appeared on their consoles: peace protocol enforced. It wasn't human technology, it was something older, awakened by humanity's defiance. The aliens realized the truth. Humanity had become the Watcher's successor, the keeper of the balance it once maintained. On the Draen Bridge, Admiral Threx watched his screens flicker back to life. He saw Earth below, unbroken, radiant, untouchable. He whispered, "They are not conquerors." Beside him, his second officer trembled. "Then what are they?" Threx closed his eyes. "They are the reason we still have a sky." Back on Luna Command, Riker exhaled, the weight of the battle fading from his shoulders. No one cheered, no one celebrated. Instead, there was quiet respect, the kind that comes when a species understands what it has become. He turned to his crew and said, "The galaxy wanted to see what humans could destroy. Instead, they've seen what we can protect." Across the universe, the message spread, not a threat, not a warning, but a truth. The day humanity stood alone, the stars themselves had chosen to stand beside them. The alien empires dismantled Project Veil within days, and the Watcher's voice faded into legend, leaving one final echo in every mind. Remember your scars, for they are the proof you chose to live. As dawn rose over Earth, Captain Riker watched the sun rise through the glass dome. The world was calm again, but he knew the lesson would never fade. He smiled faintly and whispered, "They mocked us once, but now they understand." For the galaxy had finally learned the oldest truth of all. Humanity never fights to rule. Humanity fights to endure.